The sun was setting behind the hills, painting the dry land in red and gold. Dust rolled across the road like smoke, and the wind carried the smell of gunpowder and sweat. They were going to hang her at dawn. Everyone in the town of Dry Creek knew it. They whispered about it in the saloon, talked in low voices at the general store, and watched from their windows when she was dragged across the dirt street in chains. Her name was Clara Hayes, a girl with fire in her eyes and dirt on her dress. They said she killed a rancher named Barton Lane. No trial, no mercy, just a rope waiting at the gallows. But no one asked why. No one cared that Barton Lane was twice her age and had tried to force her into marriage. No one cared that she had defended herself. In Dry Creek, power spoke louder than truth. Barton's family had money. Clara had nothing. She sat now in the sheriff's jail, hands bruised, face scratched, her wrists locked in cold iron cuffs. Her dress was torn at the shoulder, and her boots didn't match. But her chin was lifted, and her eyes were sharp. She didn't cry. Outside, the sheriff lit a cigar and leaned against the post. He spat into the dirt and stared out at the open desert. "Should have run when she had the chance," he muttered. When the stranger rode in, he came from the east, a black horse under him, and a long coat flapping in the wind. He wore no badge, no spurs, no brand. His hat was pulled low and dust covered his boots. No one knew his name. The saloon doors swung open as he stepped in. The piano stopped playing. All eyes turned to him. He didn't say much, just asked for a drink and a room. But there was something in his voice, calm, cold, and deep, like a man who had seen too much and didn't fear what came next. That night, he heard the whispers. "Did you hear about the girl? She's in the jail. They say she stabbed him in the heart. She'll hang come sunrise. It's best not get involved." But the stranger didn't sleep. He stood outside the jailhouse just before midnight, eyes fixed on the small window with bars. Behind it, Clara sat, her hands wrapped in chains, staring at the moonlight on the floor. He spoke softly through the window. "You're Clara Hayes?" She looked up slowly. "Who's asking?" "Just a man passing." "Through," he said. "But I don't like the smell of lies." "And this town smells like one big lie?" Clara gave a tired smile. "Then you'd better keep riding, stranger. This town doesn't like heroes. They shoot 'em or hang 'em." "I'm not a hero," he replied. "I've killed too many men for that." Silence passed between them. Then she asked, "Why are you really here?" "I heard your story," he said, "and I believe you." She stared at him. For the first time, her eyes softened, just a little. "No one else does." "I'm not everyone else," he said. "I lost everything a long time ago. A name. Home. A future. Maybe helping you is all I've got left." "You don't even know me." "Not yet," he said. "But I see the fire in your eyes, and I've seen what this town does to people who fight back." Clara blinked hard, like she wasn't sure if she was dreaming. She'd been alone for so long, chained not just by iron, but by silence, by judgment, by fear. "Are you going to break me out?" she whispered. "I don't break people out." He said, "I set things right." A dog barked in the distance. Footsteps echoed nearby. The stranger stepped back into the shadows. "I'll see you again before the sun rises," he said. "Stay strong." Then he disappeared into the night. Clara sat still, heart pounding. For the first time in days, her chest didn't feel so heavy. Someone had seen her, not as a killer, not as a broken girl, but as someone worth saving. Outside, the stranger rode into the dark. He didn't have a plan yet, but he had a reason, and sometimes that was enough. The stars were still bright when Clara opened her eyes. The jail cell was quiet, but something felt different. The air was heavy. Her heart beat faster. Her wrists ached from the cold chains, and her back was stiff from sleeping on the hard bench. She didn't know if she had dreamed the man's voice or if it had been real. But then she saw it. Something small lying under the bars. She reached for it with shaky fingers. It was a folded note, just 5 words. "Midnight, South Wall, be ready." Her breath caught. He was real. He hadn't left. Outside, the town was silent. Only the wind moved, rustling through dry grass and old wooden signs. Somewhere in the dark, the stranger was watching, waiting. He didn't have a name, but he had made a promise. He would come back for her. Earlier that night, he had gone to the stable. His black horse was calm as he checked the saddle and rope. He looked up at the jailhouse across the dusty street, saw the sheriff dozing off with a half-lit cigar in his mouth. It wouldn't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever was. He wasn't just trying to save a girl anymore. Something in her eyes had changed him. He had lived alone for years, drifting from town to town, carrying nothing but a saddlebag and a broken past. He didn't speak much, didn't stay long, never got close. But Clara Hayes had made him stop. She was fire, and he had been cold for too long. Midnight came. Clara stood by the south wall of her cell. Her chains rattled softly as she moved. She heard a noise soft, like metal scraping. Wood. Then a whisper. Clara. She dropped to her knees. He was there, crouched behind the wooden wall, using a small saw to cut through the backboards. Every few seconds he paused to listen. Is the sheriff asleep? He asked. I think so, she whispered. He drank too much tonight. Good, he said. Hold on. The wooden plank gave way. Cold air rushed into the cell. A hand reached. Through the opening, Clara grabbed it. His hand was warm and strong. Pulled her gently through the gap, careful not to make noise. Her chains slowed her down, but he wrapped his coat around them to silence the sound. They ran into the shadows. Behind the jailhouse? Can you ride? He asked. Clara nodded. I grew up on horses. He led her to the stable. His horse stood ready. He lifted her into the saddle with one smooth motion, then climbed up behind her. She could feel the warmth of his body behind hers. His arm brushed hers as he held the reins. She had never been this close to anyone before. Thank you, she said softly. He didn't answer, but his voice was low and kind. We're not free yet. They rode through the back trails, away from the main road. The night was cold, but Clara felt safe with him. The wind blew her hair across his cheek, and for a moment he didn't pull away. It felt like something new was blooming between them, something quiet and strong. By dawn, they had reached the hills outside Dry Creek. He helped her off the horse and made a small fire behind a rocky ledge. Clara sat close, holding the blanket he gave her. You don't have to stay, she said. You did enough. Looked at her. I didn't ride through a desert to leave you now, she smiled. It was small, but real. Why are you helping me? She asked. He was quiet for a moment, then said, Because once a girl like you helped me when no one else would. She saved me. But I couldn't save her. Clara didn't ask what happened. She didn't need to. She reached out, slowly, and touched his hand. Then maybe saving me is how you save her too. He met her eyes. For the first time, something warm flickered behind his calm face. I don't even know your name, she whispered. He hesitated, then said, Call me Sam. Clara nodded. Thank you, Sam. He stood, looking out at the rising sun. We can't stay here. There'll be riders on our tail by noon. She rose beside him. I'm ready. Sam looked at her, really looked at the girl in chains who had faced death and didn't flinch. And he knew something deep in his bones. Wasn't just someone he saved, she was his future, and no one was going to take her away again. The sound of horses came at noon. Hooves beat hard against the dry earth. Dust lifted into the sky like smoke. From a distance it looked like a storm was coming, but it wasn't the weather. It was a posse. Clara and Sam watched from a ridge, hidden behind brush and stone. She could see 5 men, guns on their hips. One of them wore the sheriff's hat. The others rode like bounty hunters, fast and mean. They'll search the valley first, Sam said, voice low. Clara's hands were still sore from the chains. Her face was marked with dirt and dried sweat, but her eyes were steady. They won't stop, she whispered. They want me dead. Psst. Sam looked at her. Then we stay one step ahead. They moved quietly through the hills. Sam led the horse, on foot, letting it rest. He knew these lands well, every hidden path, every stream, every old trail left by mountain men. Clara followed, never complaining. She was tired, but but something inside her had changed. She wasn't just running, she was living again, and she wasn't alone. That night, they made camp beside a river. The water was cold and clean. Clara washed her face and soaked her sore hands. She looked across the fire and watched Sam as he cleaned his knife and checked his saddlebag. "You never told me what you were running from," she said. Sam didn't look up right away, and he said, "A war, a brother, a bullet that never should have been fired." Clara stayed quiet. "My real name died out there," he continued, "so I made a new one. Started over. But no matter how far I ride, it follows me. You soaked into the flames. You saved me. That means something." Edie met her eyes. "You didn't scream? You didn't beg. You stood tall, even in chains. That means something too." Their eyes held for a long moment. Then Clara said softly, "I don't want to keep running forever." Sam moved closer to the fire. His hand reached out, gentle and slow. Clara didn't pull away. She let his fingers touch hers. It was a small touch, but it felt like lightning. "I don't either," he said. "I want peace. I want to build something, not run from the past, but walk toward something better." Clara smiled, tired but warm. "With me," Sam nodded. "If you'll have me." There were no fancy words, no big speeches. It's just two broken hearts, finding something strong between them. Love, not loud but real. The next morning, they saddled the horse and headed north. The trail was steep and rough. At times, Clara had to walk, holding Sam's hand as they climbed. He never let go, not once. At the top of the ridge, they stopped. Below them, they saw a small valley hidden between mountains, trees, water, space. Safe. "It's perfect," Clara whispered. Sam took a deep breath. "We can start here." She turned to him. "Really? For the first time in a long time," he said. "I feel like I belong somewhere." "With you?" Clara stepped closer. She touched his chest gently. "I never thought I'd feel safe again. But I do. When I'm with you." Sam leaned in. Their lips met slow, soft and honest. A kiss not stolen, but earned. It wasn't wild or rushed. It was quiet. Like a promise. A new life. But far behind them, the sound of hoofbeats still echoed. Danger. Hadn't left. Was only waiting. The peace didn't last. It was early morning. Mist clung to the trees. Birds sang softly. Sam stood at the edge of the valley, watching the fog rise from the river. He felt it in his bones something was wrong. Then he heard it. The crack of a twig. The rustle of hooves. Clara was inside the small log shelter they had built together, barely finished, but it was theirs. She was boiling water, humming a soft tune. Her face looked calm, her eyes gentle. Sam walked in fast. "They've found us." Clara stopped. The warmth in her eyes turned to fear. "How many?" Sam looked outside. 4, maybe 5. "They're riding hard." She didn't panic. She stood straight and nodded. "We fight," she said. He looked at her, proud. "No more running." She walked to him and placed her hand on his chest. "I'd rather fight beside you than live scared without you." Sam pulled her close. Their foreheads touched. "You've got the heart of a warrior," he whispered. She smiled. "I learned it from a man who once said he had no future. Turns out I'm his future." They kissed fast but full of fire. Then, it was time. Sam handed Clara a rifle. He took his own and checked the bullets. They stood back to back behind the stone wall they had built days ago. The first shot came fast, smashing into a tree near the shelter. Clara ducked, aimed, and fired. One rider screamed and fell. Sam fired next, hitting the ground near another's horse, spooking it. Dust flew. The posse was caught off guard. They weren't ready for Clara. They weren't ready for Sam. The fight didn't last long. Clara's hands were steady. Sam moved like a ghost, calm, sharp, fast. When it was over, the valley fell silent again. 4 men lay in the dirt. One was alive, crawling. Sam walked over slowly, gun in hand. "You ride back to Dry Creek," he said. "Tell them Clara Hayes is free, and if anyone comes looking next time, we don't show mercy." The man nodded, terrified, and ran. Clara watched him disappear into the trees. Her hands shook now, not from fear, but from the weight of what they had done. Sam came over and wrapped his arms around her. "It's over," he said gently. She held on to him tightly. "I never wanted to kill anyone." "You protected what's yours," he said. "That's not killing, that's surviving." They stood there for a long time, holding each other in the quiet valley. Finally, Clara looked up. "What now?" Sam smiled. "Now we live." Past, the cabin grew strong. Clara planted flowers by the door. Sam built a fence. The horse grazed nearby. They laughed more, slept close, held hands without fear, every night. Clara looked at the stars and felt thankful. She had been chained, judged, nearly killed. Now she was free. Loved safe, Sam. The man with no name and no past had become her future. She was his. The pain hadn't vanished, but love had made it softer. Every sunrise reminded them they had chosen each other, and that made all the difference.